Okay.
Okay. And Jane is here. Okay. So good evening all. Welcome to this remote meeting of the Sixth Regional Planning Board being held this Wednesday, May 6th. There is a quorum, so I will call the meeting to order at 6:34 in accordance with House Bill 62 of the 194 General Courts. All votes will be taken via roll call. So let's begin by having people respond with present so we can go through the attendance. We have Steve Richter is
I'm present.
present, and Alan Genovese is present, and Greg Snedeker,
Yeah. Here.
and Dorinda Bellup,
Here.
Karen O'Neill,
Here.
Michelle Geruso,
Here.
and we have Jane Dutcher, who's on mute. And she is here, and she'll let us know in a minute. And we also have Mike Jackson. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. And Lindsay McCarthy, who has been involved in a couple of these initiatives. I asked her if she would be willing to participate, and she was excited to do so. So we really appreciate her here. She's going to go over a couple of things. So this meeting is being recorded. In the events we experience technical difficulties or interferes with our meeting, we'll make every effort to resolve it. If we're unable to, we will postpone the meeting and reschedule it. So the first order of business were the minutes. And I have on the agenda that there were three sets, March 25th, April 7th, and April 13th. So for the interest of time, I'm going to ask that we talk about that to see if there's any amendments to be made to any of these. And then when we finish, I'll ask for a motion to approve them all. Greg, I had sent you something because I had the March 25th and the April 13th. And I don't know, I had said to you, did we already send out the 7th, or could you send them out? Because I couldn't find them.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I can go back and look. I thought we already approved the March meeting minutes, no?
No, this is April 7th. Did anyone
Oh,
get those
April. Okay.
earlier? Did anyone get the April 7th earlier?
No,
Okay. Well, we can
I,
we can follow up with those. Sorry.
All right.
I couldn't find any of them.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Oh, my apologies. I don't know. I thought I sent them out, but maybe not.
well, they were attached to all the documents. Did anyone else not get them? Because we can't approve them if people haven't.
Um, I know there was something that came through that said these are attached, but nothing was attached.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can follow up in the next meeting. I mean, the main thing is we have them the draft minutes. They can be draft on the website, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They don't have to be necessarily approved just yet, so
All
that's
right.
okay.
So just so we know, are we sending them out to everyone? Dorinda, did you get the minutes of these three sets of minutes or no?
I remember getting minutes, but
Okay.
there's a lot of emails, so I didn't download them because I just wait until they're approved.
Okay. Then we'll skip over this, but and we can get them up as draft minutes. I'm just concerned because Greg sent these out as a block, so we'll see if you got the other documents as well. So he sent a
Yeah,
series of
I'm not
attachments.
concerned. I mean,
Okay.
if they went out, they went out. If they didn't, it's not a big deal. I think we have them posted on the website. So
Yeah.
the main thing is they're available.
Yeah.
They're on the email is titled meeting canceled tomorrow. So they're attached to the meeting canceled tomorrow email.
That's hard to find when you're searching for minutes.
A perfect place is to attach them to a canceled meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did
Okay.
receive them.
So Greg will resend the three sets together, so he'll have them all together. Moving
Okay. Good.
on. Community communication outreach. So I had asked Lindsay to review. She reviewed the document along with Dorinda and Mary, Greg and I. Dorinda really, Mary and Lindsay spent a lot of time on this. So this is our proposed outreach plan. And so I don't know, Lindsay, are you able to put that up and go through it, or we have Greg do that? You had it in the queue, correct? Greg would have to let you share.
Just unmute.
Yeah, let me have it. I have it if you want me to share it.
Sure.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
made you co-host.
And
So,
Pat's here now.
Yeah, I
okay.
am.
All right. It doesn't say I could share
Oh
it.
yeah, and for the record, just a bit ago, Pat Shearer has joined us.
Hey, Lindsay, I made you a co-host. I think
I
you may have to
see.
accept it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Oop. No, can you see it?
Yep,
Not
Mhm.
doing it.
yep, yep.
Okay. All right. Do you, Alan and Greg, do you want me to just go all the way through it?
Sure. Sure.
How
Why
much
don't you
people are-
highlight what it's about? And I think the main thing people understand it's the plan with the components of the plan. What I was a little concerned about, that was confusing, but you helped me to understand it, is when it has a something listed and then a message. That's the message that we're being consistent in putting out. So with that said, let me just turn it over to you and take it away.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to read all the way through it. Take your time if you've already had a chance to look at it. But uh, it's based on having clear, accurate, and accessible information to offer people so they can make meaningful choices when they vote. So here's our core principles for the communication. It's be clear over complex, because I'm finding that people don't really know as much about it as we might think they do.
Mhm.
So it needs to be clear and start simple for them, and then delve in as needed. Um, have conversation over presentation. We want to be sure to engage people, listen to them. Again, share what's known and unknown, so be transparent. It's important to be consistent across all the towns so that everyone's getting the same information, and visibility and accessibility. So that's more about accessing people where they are, whether it's on the internet or just in a coffee shop, or wherever they're reachable. So basically, our goal is to distribute materials information using a variety of methods, so that it really covers accessibility for as much of the general public as we can reach. So what we did was we grouped it into who the audience is that we would be speaking with. They did meet in 2023. I guess you already know this. And this is what the students were saying, that they're excited about more classes and electives, more opportunities in sports, having more involvement with their friends, having enhanced facilities and resources, and greater diversity, more teachers and coaches. So more opportunity for a wider, not only social but academic interactions. Let's see. Yeah, transportation. The They remain the same for elementary students. I think people are misunderstanding that there's going to be a big change in the bus schedule for the elementaries. There shouldn't be, I would assume, right, Greg?
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's basically that the anybody from uh, Gill, Turner's, Montague would be middle school going to PVRSD, and then anybody from PVRSD for high school would be going to Turner's. And so it would be, there's kids that can drive, there's kids whose parents take them, so that can't imagine it's going to be a huge number of kids that would be affected on a bus ride. But that's how you get to school sometimes. A few more minutes hopefully shouldn't make a big difference. Um,
And let me just comment here.
yeah,
It
go
was
ahead.
pointed out that we have fewer kids. And so it might be, in looking at things, we could just have one of those buses or two, keep one of them for repurposing. If we look at a route, let's say a Pioneer route or something, it looks a little longer, then we could have an exchange point that a lot of districts, do in order to help to shorten the bus ride. So there are there are opportunities to shorten, rides. So this, of course, is important to all of us. So we would certainly be looking at the new school committee.
Yeah. And I guess I'm not sure how long is too long for parents. I don't really get a sense of if it's, half an hour is too long, or I don't know, but it would be a good dialogue to have. School identity is also an important thing, I think. So um, it's an inclusive process. All the banners, the trophies, recognitions can either remain in their respective schools or be special showcased at the new facility to preserve the history of these districts. By no means are we wanting to change the allegiances of the past, and certainly want to recognize those. So taxpayers. Okay, financial stability, long-term stability, mitigation of impact of declining enrollment. This is this was a big one in our town meeting last Monday night. So I don't think that people really understand how the assessments um, are obtained and how they're calculated. So I think it would be important to do a very simple um, explanation for them. Um, but the reality is each community dollar will go further, especially at the middle and high school levels, by expanding opportunities. So even if the budgets don't go down, is my understanding that, they may or may not, but a larger student body creates a wider variety of courses. So the resources could be reallocated from other savings, say through administration costs, things like that.
And the other point is, as we get into talking points, is that there may be hardly any change in that first year because of having these initiatives all come together. When we talk about sustainability and affordability, we're looking at then going forward because you have fewer students, you're spreading the cost out of over more towns, and so it minimizes the impact going forward as then rather than if it's on 3 towns, 2 towns, or 1 town. So we can talk about that in our messaging and on our Q&A.
Okay. All right.
I have a question about misinformation. How are we going to
Mm.
rectify misinformation? These town meetings, I've seen a lot of misinformation on Facebook. Parents have asked me different things. Townspeople have asked me different things. There is a lot of misinformation. And as we know, like parents, they vote by what they think is true, but they don't have the time to look into what is going on. Just like you explained the assessments, townspeople do not know how things are derived, nor do they know the next steps. If a budget doesn't pass, what happens to it? It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing and everything's people are going to be laid off and everything. They just don't understand the process, and it's scare tactics.
Yeah, so here's how I would answer
Absolutely.
that. I think what we can do, and all of us need to do this, is anything that one of the things we're going to do is we're going to look at the Pioneer website because it's certain. Unfortunately, I have to say they're notorious for having information out there that's misleading or not accurate. We'll look through their website and we will correct information that's misleading or not accurate, and we will make that a question or clarify it in our Q&A. So that's one way we could do it. The other way is the things that you're talking about, Michelle, and others that you hear, get those to Greg and I, and we will put together a message. We'll vet it through through Mary, and then we'll get it to Dorinda, and we'll continue now to put those on our page, our Q&A page, which Dorinda will talk about later. The other thing is we're hoping that if each one of you can just have a meeting with three or four, uh, five friends, people that you can talk about this. And I offer to come to any one of those and answer questions and just explain things so that they understand what the regional agreement says, what it means, and what the intent is, and so forth, and what our long range plan looks like. And if people are uncomfortable because you don't feel like you have been in the weeds, which I wouldn't expect you to be in anywhere near as much as Greg and I have been and going through this process. You've certainly read documents and you know the information, but if they start asking questions to get a little deeper, that there's nothing wrong with saying, as one member pointed out at a recent meeting, just say, I want to make sure we get back to you and that everyone hears that answer. We want to check out a little bit. Get the question, get the concern, pass it on to Greg and I. We will get an answer and we will address it. You can tell them we'll get it back to you. We'll have it on our website within a week. You just get it to us right away. So later on, one of the asks is try to get a nucleus of a few people somewhere in a, Starbucks or a library or a home or anywhere, so that we can start conversations with people with the hopes that they will then talk to some of their friends, and maybe one of them will say, yeah, I'll host one of these. But we're going to have to start more of a grassroots, because there's just a few of us really working on this, and in these last few months we need help. All right, Lindsay, that's my commercial.
Nice.
Well, I put
And
it to the
also,
front. Yeah.
in addition to the website, I don't know how motivated parents and maybe some seniors or people in general are to take the time to go and read about it. Um, I fear that what I saw in my town meeting on Monday night, and Michelle, you're Northfielder.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought
Like
you were.
Biden.
Oh, Leiden. Okay.
Yep.
Pat's
Pat
no.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Pat, I don't know. Were you there,
I,
Pat?
oh yeah, I was there.
Okay. Maybe you could give a feeling about why are people operating on the information that they do, and I just worry that they're not motivated to try to know anything different.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that part of it is our problem because we haven't given them information that's easily understood from the very get-go. Well, from the very get-go, we were shut down and not able to do it. It just
Yeah.
wasn't coming from the pioneer. But I think that we talk a lingo that they don't understand. I think sometimes instead of saying a paragraph, say two sentences. That works.
Mhm.
But there was a lot of. I think we need to do our homework to get it out, get the information out there, because that's what we want to do, and then let them decide at the voting,
Right.
what they decide they want. But they haven't had the any information at all. What they've gotten is what's come home from school with some of the kids.
Right.
And as Alan said a few minutes ago when I was talking to him, we need to get some kind of correct knowledge out there, and it's not happening.
I,
But I'm not sure that. Oh, I see Greg. So yeah,
I've got a little bit of different take, only because
yeah.
I noticed
Okay.
the vote. I noticed the vote was actually, in the past, these budgets would kind of unanimously pass. And in Northfield, I think it was like 58 to 46 or something like that.
And
So, I mean,
Berniston was pretty similar.
and it was about an
Eight.
eight vote difference there.
Yeah.
That's actually telling, that's very telling. That is saying that people are listening, people are understanding it, because we've gone from, school budgets that would kind of just unanimously, like it was kind of an afterthought, like, of course you got to do this, and so they would kind of just pass unanimously. And now they're close. So that means that our communities are sort of waking up and realizing that the trajectory is not sustainable, both for enrollment and for finances. And I think it's, I saw it as positive. I think people are still, nobody wants to not fund their schools because, there's all the emotional parts of being sort of feeling guilty if you're not funding your students and so there's a lot of heartstrings that get tugged at and that's understandable. But I was actually,
Mm.
I saw it as, well, people are actually waking up because these are not, unanimous. They're pretty close and they're also still town meeting. So,
Oh, I thought that was a typo. Northfield was that same vote, almost
Yeah,
56.
No, ours was wider.
it was,
That's
yeah,
what
it
I
was
thought.
more.
Ours was wider. Bernardston was pretty close.
Braxton was really close, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yours was
What,
wider, not
what
like a
was it?
huge gap.
12 or
It was
12
like
or
12.
15 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
that's not a lot.
Yeah,
Well, and there's some fundamental problems with how that vote's taken because
Sure.
yeah,
um, you
yeah.
raise your hands, which I think is intimidating for some people,
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
so that they won't vote honestly.
Mhm.
And I swear I saw some of the kids raise their hands and then he corrected them and said, no, you can't unless you have an armband. So they were trying to push the vote, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, so
Yeah,
um,
from where I didn't see that, but from where you sat, I'm sure you saw a
yeah,
lot of that.
Yeah, the
yeah.
other point is that I was able to speak, allowed to speak at the Berniston meeting. There was a gentleman that was trying to ask for a ballot vote, a paper vote, and he said, "Listen, some people don't want to stand up and share their thoughts with their
Mm,
neighbors and
yeah,
teachers, whatever. There's a lot of pressure here." But he didn't know how to make it just a motion. And the moderator uh, cut him off and just
yeah.
said, well, I'll
Twice.
decide, I'll do a voice vote. And if I can't decide, I'll do, a paper. And then when it was a loud between both and people were going paper ballot, he decided to just have people stand,
Yeah.
instead. And I am convinced if that was a paper ballot, their budget would not have passed. Um,
Yeah. I
so
was not, I wasn't impressed on the way that that meeting was held.
yeah.
I wonder if there's a way
I
they
want to
can,
jump in here.
yeah, can they
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
challenge that, Jane?
Oh, Jane, right.
I wasn't happy with quite a few things there,
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one, Jane.
but I wanted. The paper says that the Bernardson vote was 59 to 44, and then that was on the amendment, and then on the article it was 56 to 44. And I want to tell you that I have had several people tell me how many persons exited the room and stood in the hall. And when they were asked, do you need help? Is there a problem? They said no. And then they were told, well, they're voting in there. Don't you want to go in and vote? And they said, one person said, no, my boss is in there. I can't vote,
Mhm.
which I found to be very interesting.
Jane, is there a way to challenge that procedure, the way it went down?
Well,
It was
I
clearly
probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
do it.
I fell at that meeting. I caught my foot
Yeah.
on the chair next to me, and there were curtains on the tables or tablecloths, whatever you want to call them. So nobody saw what happened except that I disappeared.
Yeah,
Besides
but
disappearing,
a lot of us
found
saw it.
out after
Yeah.
after the meeting, I wound up having a ride in a vehicle
Oh,
With lights flashing.
with lights flashing. I don't know if they flashed the lights or not. Maybe they did. They certainly didn't use the siren. And it was it was a case of every EMT in that room was standing around me.
yep.
Mhm.
They were
And
quick.
I said to somebody, they said, how did that feel to look up and see that? And I said, see all those handsome faces. I said, well, the problem is they're all married. And I was corrected on that one. So,
Oh.
but anyway, so you can imagine that on Thursday, my phone was ringing off the hook.
Mhm.
And one person told me that he was going to look into what could be done about the moderator because he
Good.
felt
Yeah,
that he had not properly handled the meeting.
he had, it was really, I
And
was
then
amazed.
the other person told me, another person told me that he had already looked up Mass General Law and was going to be working on the process to have a revote.
Huh.
Good.
And both of them, I said, I, I think you should follow your conscience. I'm sorry I can't get involved
Mhm.
because
Okay.
I felt that my involvement would maybe defeat the purpose.
Well, Jane, I'm
So I hope they follow through. Whether anything really happens or not, I hope they follow through.
Jane, I'm happy to hear that you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm
Because I
walking without my walker as of
I was
yesterday.
I was really worried about you, number one. And as soon as I was sitting there listening, sitting at the kitchen table, listening to it, I thought to myself, what in the heck would Jane do? So I'm glad I know what Jane does. So yeah.
They wanted to take me right then, and I told them no, I had to.
Yeah.
I got up and finished the meeting. So most people thought I was okay. They didn't know that I was sitting there with an ice pack on my knee and swinging my leg so that my knee wouldn't freeze up on me.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
And
You
I
got spunk.
know that my knee was only one part of me that was involved in the whole mess.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the other thing I want to say about Northfield, I watched that on BNC TV, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Your dog if he starts
And
eating farmer's dog. On the first day, you'll see your dog eating fresh meat and vegetables
what?
I've got a mute.
standards. After 1
At
month,
the
this
note,
dog
I was pleasantly surprised at the number of people, granted few compared to the 200 that were present in the room, the people who said, we have to talk about this sixth town. We have to move to the sixth town.
Mm.
And I don't know if that registered with anybody else, but it did register with me.
Mm.
And sometimes it was, they specifically used the sixth town, and some just said a bigger district or, you know.
Mhm.
So I thought that was
Mm.
encouraging in a way, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
So I think our messaging is good, and I'm going to have you continue, Lindsay. But
Okay.
the messaging is good, but Pat's right in terms of this we have to sort of step back and come forward again because there's so much misinformation and misleading information that
Yep.
part of our messaging now is a little more complicated because we have to correct the misthinking that people have, and hopefully we'll be able to have them, reason out, okay, this is different. Maybe this isn't such a bad idea. Because from my perspective, if you care about kids, you'd be supporting regionalization so they would have more opportunities instead of the opposite of that. If you
Right.
care about kids, vote to keep them isolated. Jane, if that took a vote, what did you think it would have passed if it was a ballot, if it was a paper ballot?
I did think it would.
Okay.
It would have been, it still would have been close.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, I think it would have passed, and that's because of the reports I had about people in the hallway, the number of them, and the first person who told me about it, I have absolute confidence in their veracity.
Mhm.
And that number would not have made it a majority, the number that person spoke about. But other people also said that they observed people not voting in the room.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Right. Mhm.
Mm. It's easier to abstain, so you're not, huh?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess
Uh,
my only added comment would be, um, Gil Montague is going to be in the same position, and we're facing an override in Gil. It doesn't mean I'm not going to vote for the school budget because in the end, the school, I don't want to see necessarily the school, have a reduced budget where it does impact the kids in this year. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't vote for the regionalization because that's a much more broader look and about sustainability going forward. So, part of it is the immediate expense that needs to be covered, and then the longer sort of, long range sort of view of is it sustainable?
Mhm.
Not to get off topic, but on Saturday at the Rural and Western Mass Conference, the legislators told us the reason they're being conservative is all the federal cuts that were from the big beautiful bill has not hit us yet. They will all
Right.
hit us in 27 and 28.
Yep.
And that is why the state is looking towards the future and they can't give out all the money now. So they warned us it's going to get worse. So we're just kicking the can down the road.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's all we're doing year to year without any good strategic thinking.
mm.
Well,
Yeah.
and there was misinformation on that budget, and maybe you can correct it in Leiden. You can read the law, which says the school committee will come back with another budget. It doesn't say you go straight to 1/12.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if she's saying, if they are saying we're going to operate on a 1/12 budget, well, you only get to do that for 6 months, and then Desi's going to set your budget for you.
Mhm.
Right.
So they need to read the law because they're not even being honest about that.
Right.
And I remember the year that our Pioneer superintendent did not take the raise that was in her contract
Yep.
because we were in dire straits
Yep.
back then.
Right.
That was Dale. She did great.
Yeah.
That was.
So just to give us a little history, back in the 50s, my mom was on the regionalization when Pioneer was going to regionalize or when Burness was going to regionalize with the other three towns. And that was either 2 or 3 votes that it took times that I had to come back before it passed.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is our first go round. If we have a stumble,
Right.
don't give up.
Right. Exactly.
I think
Exactly. Yeah.
part of it is people are holding their individual schools in such high regard. They don't want to give up the Pioneer Panther stuff, nor does Gil Montague want to give up their mascot and their name and all that. It takes a little bit of time for people to get it in their head that yeah, it is better for the kids, and it is a much better. Maybe we're not going to save money, but in the long run, it's going to be better for the kids. So we need to. I don't know how you go about doing it.
I keep
But
saying that all the time. When
Yeah,
people ask me questions, I always say I can't promise you to save a nickel. What I can promise you is that our junior and senior high school students are going to have an opportunity for a better education.
yep,
And
Yep.
you can add to that it will become more sustainable in the future because it's going to be those expenses are spread out, amongst the other communities. I would just have either you, Jane, or Michelle, um, uh, sort of you. I think they had that meeting that Senator Comerford commented on the regionalization funds. So maybe Michelle, you could comment on that. But this is an opportunity for all of us, if we haven't done it, as well as our select boards, to write a letter because I think they're going to have a joint hearing coming up in support of the regionalization, the regional or the supplemental funding. Um, Michelle, did you hear? Did Comerford let us know that's still alive and going?
She didn't say it's still alive and going. I thought there was a date on the letter. It's got to go to conference committee.
Right.
Mhm.
So what she said was there are efforts, there are in the supplemental budget, there is money there for shared services and regionalization.
Yes.
She
25
said
million.
because of all of you who have reached out to say that there needs to be further work done. So there is money in the supplemental budget.
Yep.
Okay, so
Well,
we need to
the
all write
provisions are
letters.
in there. Yeah, the provisions are in there. So she asked for us to write in support of the provisions.
Right.
And so that was a number of things with Chapter 90 and more rural school aid, but also 25 million for regionalization. So that's yeah, that's a large amount. It's great.
Yeah.
It
So,
is.
Greg, did you see the deadline for that? Because I just got back and I was looking at my email and I
I
the day I
all I know
left.
is I drew up letters for both Gill and Deerfield, so those went out. I just it because there's so much else. I kind of figured the town administrators probably were on it because it's not just about regionalization. It's about rural school aid. It's about more Chapter 90 or more excuse me more road assistance. There's also about supporting the no phone policy as well in schools, as well as several other things. So it's not just about regionalization.
Okay, but I left on April 18th and to go on
I would
vacation.
check with your town
And when
administrator.
I came back, I saw a letter to us
Yes.
to Warwick. It came to me and it said we do not have a letter from Warwick officials supporting the legislation, which tells me that maybe all of the towns got may have gotten a letter. So I would encourage people to have their have the select boards if they haven't, vote to support this supplemental funding, um, like ASAP. I'll open it up and try to find out when the date is, because maybe, Greg, we will want to provide testimony if it's going to a joint hearing or written testimony. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna. I mean, the nice thing is that it's because it's a bundle of provisions that it's. I think it's pretty. It's pretty well supported. It should be.
Mm.
So that's the nice thing about it. I mean, what I hope doesn't happen is they start,
yeah,
discarding certain
Disseminating it.
provisions. Yeah,
Yeah.
they might start cherry picking and reducing
right.
different amounts. So
Right.
we
But
need to do that.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Moving
okay.
on.
Anyway,
Lindsay?
Oh, and just a quick comment about getting the word out where people are. I saw, Greg, all of your responses on Nextdoor. I think that is so powerful because people pay attention to Nextdoor. They really, a lot
that's
of
why
people
that's why
do.
I post. Well, and the other thing is,
Yeah, thank you.
I try to meet people where they are. So someone like Mike Naughton, who was on this board, who was on a finance committee for many, many years. I mean, I was dumbfounded that he was sort of, I mean, I don't want to say he was pretending to not understand, but and he can take
He
issue
was
with me on that
cherry
one.
picking.
But I'm like, yeah, of course, cost benefit and economies of scale it has to be the lens you look through with public expenditure. I mean, that's the only way to look at your public expenditures. So, I felt like I did clarify it. So in the end, it's like, no, we're not talking past each other. So you probably
No, that
saw
was
that.
great. And I think, the
Zoom.
more that you have time and are able to do that, even though
Yeah.
it was it kind of got away from it just being a Northfield question. Whatever kicked that off, it was just so helpful. So
Oh,
thank
good.
you for
Okay, thank
taking the time to do that.
Yeah, my weekend was taken up by that, but
Anyway, I think that's a really powerful thing to
okay, well,
stick
thanks.
with. That. Anyway, moving on. So staffing, I think another thing I'm hearing a lot of is that people are really afraid to trust a change. People are
Yeah.
really afraid to trust that we really have it together. And so maybe what Pat said that, if we don't quite get it out this time, it doesn't mean it's not viable for people to, you know, become to understand. All right, staffing. It will continue with current staff. Working conditions. That's by the bargaining agreement. So, they'll do that negotiating process. Um, the the community impact, I think, is important for people because we'll retain our elementary school, and that's huge to them, or at least to my town. Let's see, and then it talks about the governance and how it will be made up of the 13 members. So it's all the expenses distributed over 5 to 6 towns, so it's more sustainable.
And I hope there would be a
So
comfort level on that form, that first school committee. The nice thing is they start if they're when they're appointed, and they go right through until the election. So you have one consistent body working on this, and
yeah,
it's your select board and the current members. So you've got a
yeah,
really good balance of people coming in
yes,
to bring this work forward. So I think that's a real plus.
yeah, yeah. All right. So here's a rough timeline of what we came up with for activities. Overhaul the website. Dorinda's been working hard on that. Mary and Greg and Dorinda and myself have been meeting about doing that. So I don't know, Dorinda, if you want to mention anything about that yet, or
Whenever.
Yeah,
is
she'll
she
she'll
there?
be talking about that in a minute. She's
Oh,
next.
okay. Okay, great. Um, And then continue to update it as needed with input, as you were explaining, as Q&A or whatever other information. I'm not sure what identify facts versus fiction is. Maybe Ellen, you can speak to that. Um,
It's basically what we talked about, just
mm,
has a new title, which is take miserroneous information and
okay,
correct it. And we'll do that through you can do that through Nextdoor. We can do that through paper articles, through flyers, through
okay,
maybe index cards, poster sized cards if we have a big one that we need to clear up. And on our BNC TV, I did learn that we can't like do our own special program, but they would put anything up that we have on their broadcast. And if we do another one or two, which I think we should, we can specifically address those kinds of misinformations. That'll be a great opportunity because they run that over and over. So that might be one of our best ways, along with the Q&A, to
yeah,
correct the misinformation.
absolutely. Okay. So what you're saying is that we could do a recording of a pre-choreographed situation, and then they
It
could.
has to be a public meeting in an audience.
It has to be a public meeting. Okay.
Yeah, in an
All right.
audience, right? And then they'll broadcast. That's what
Okay.
they're into, broadcasting public meetings.
Public meetings. Okay.
So they would, I think they covered one of our meetings, didn't they, Alan? Way
Yeah,
back, one of the first ones that we held at the Bernardson Senior Center.
yes.
And they covered that.
Mm-hmm.
They bring their equipment in to the senior center because the senior center doesn't have it there permanently. And
Mm-hmm.
then I remember because I wound up running around the room with a microphone because people just they didn't get that they needed to use the microphone in order for it to be part of the recording.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so they would say, well, you can hear me, you know,
But yeah,
and then
I
I would go
remember you doing
racing
that
over
thing.
with a microphone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that would need to happen. That public meeting would need to happen either in Northfield or Bernardston for BNC TV to record it.
Yeah,
And we need to coordinate the night with them so that we knew they were available.
right.
Perfect. That'll be great. Okay. And then continue with, fact versus fiction responses on Nextdoor, as we just talked about, on the website. Draft some press releases to local media so that we keep it sort of forefront as people read the papers, letters to the editor.
Can you
It could be
pause there for a
drafted.
second?
Certainly.
If some members could actually just take a topic that you have a passion about, or you've heard some things about, draft something up
Oh,
and get it to us, because then we'll vet it, and then we'll send it to Mary. She'll vet it, and then it'll go out under your name.
yep.
Mm.
Couldn't be easier. Okay, town newsletter messages, that would be Greg and Alan. Unfortunately, Northfield doesn't have a town newsletter, but I'm hoping the rest of them towns do. And I assume we could put something on the town website though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Well, we should be able to get a link on the town website.
Yep, I think so.
So
that
could
would be
we all,
Bernardston's newsletter is suddenly swinging in the wind here till we decide what's going to happen.
could we all take our the reasons for regionalization and get that in the upcoming newsletter in May and get that out there so that it goes in the newsletter for all
The
towns?
May newsletters are already out, Alan. It would have to be aimed at a June newsletter.
That's correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I have until the May 20th. Yours are earlier. Okay. Well, then let's shoot for June for sure.
Okay. All right. Then we have generate a QR code link so that we can put that on all of our information, and it would drive people to the website. We talked about making a postcard size little information thing that would have the QR code on it and have it around town at, the markets and the library and the senior centers and things like that that people can pick up and take with them. So hopefully we could all help to, get those distributed. And then we talked about hosting, and Alan already talked a little bit about that, hosting coffees, other gatherings. Just even one or two friends would be great.
And if
Town
everybody
meeting and
can do
finance.
that, every member,
Everybody.
just have one, and we'll help. And then maybe they'll want to hold one, or at least they'll have more information to share. That's a must.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and plus I find that just, being like, if I'm sitting at MIMS having coffee, I'll run into somebody to talk to all the time.
Mhm.
There's, just striking up conversations in all kinds of settings. I was at the Neighbors at Home luncheon the other Saturday and had a few conversations. So it's easy to do if you just town meeting and finance committee presentations. Well, we presented it. Well, we didn't get a chance to do town meeting in Northfield, but I know Bernardston had a presentation.
Warwick
Broadcasting
did, Gil
CTV.
did.
Huh? I'm sorry.
I said Warwick and Gil gave updates similar to
Oh, did
Bernardston.
they? Oh, great.
And
Great, great,
Dorinda said that she's going to, it was too late. They had a lot of things going on, but she had said something that they would allow her to get it out to the representatives in some kind of
Excellent.
document that goes out to folks there.
Okay.
Yeah, email.
Email. Okay.
And then the last thing we talked about is having, just Zoom meetings that people could join into, just set them certain times, and because that's an easy thing to get people engaged in, because they don't have to leave home and go anywhere. They can just, clock in or clock out as they'd like to. So,
Yeah.
we could set those up. And I
Yeah, I
think
think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, just put it out there that there's a Zoom meeting coming up. Everybody join in, have a conversation. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and make sure
And
they don't think it's a presentation, it's a conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I think that's about all we had. Oh,
I will
other
say
than,
that
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, you go,
No, go
Barbara.
ahead.
Sorry.
Go
My
ahead, Greg.
apologies. No, I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say something about like the misinformation, which I think is, that's one of the most challenging things. And, like I spent a lot of time this weekend on Nextdoor trying to correct for that and I do put it right out there. I'm like, look, what you're getting from your own district is not correct. I mean, it's grossly inaccurate. Um, for instance, what was said in the Northfield town meeting was that the district's enrollment is, increasing, projected to increase. And that, is very misleading.
It's
If you
irresponsible.
look at if I first thing I did was go read the MSBA report, and what became very clear was the middle and high school actually continued to decline. Um, and so by 2030, the projections are that Pioneer is going to be about 97 high school students, so less than they have now. But not only that, but the projections, if you look at them very carefully, and then you look at the live birth rates in our towns, is that what we saw was an uptick in birth rates from like 20 to 24 because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
And if you look at your birth rates in your town starting in 2025, it goes right back to what it was. It just a dramatic drop. And I just looked at the like the birth rates in Northfield. So, they had a spike. They went from like 14, then they were up in, you know, 26, 27, 28 for those 3 or 4 years. And then this last year, it was back down to 12. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you can have these, these little fluctuations that might get it back up to, a little bit higher and back up to where it was maybe a couple of years ago, but then it's going to continue to decline because there are no projections nationwide of our enrollment going up in the next 10 years
Right.
on a, on
And
a, on a national basis. So,
And and I need to add to that because even if they gain some more students, Pioneer, I forget the number, it was like 107 additional students. They're in hold harmless. They're going to get minimum aid. Even with a little uptick in their enrollment, is not going to get them out of minimum aid. So their financial situation in terms of funding for each student is not going to improve very much.
well, even with that, I'm just saying that the projections look very rosy on that MSBA. It sort of implies like that those birth rates are going to continue. And I don't think they are. I think it was a 4 year blip because everybody was, basically working from home and had, more time. And now now we're back to work in our offices and businesses. And I just don't see it. And especially with the economics that are going on now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, and in our town meeting, there was that whole notion that if we don't have really good local schools, our town's people aren't gonna want to move here. So by
Yeah.
regionalizing, we'll be killing our local economy.
It
Is
actually, but
is kind of what
Just
they were
put the cart
saying.
it's
before the
it's
horse. I mean, if you
just
don't have
I
the
think it's
economy
just
for people
opposite.
to move in to get jobs, they're not going to care about the schools. They need a job
No,
first.
I'm just saying what they said. They're just
I
Well,
know,
saying.
Yeah.
I know you are, and I couldn't respond Monday night, so I'm responding now.
And I would just like to add to
I
that.
have another question about the
Yeah.
population. When Pioneer tells us that they're going to have X number of students in whatever year, are they counting their desire for
choice,
tuition
Choice.
students
Oh,
yeah,
and
choice and
absolutely.
tuition,
students,
yeah.
or are they just counting local residents?
Oh no, they're counting everything.
They're
Yeah,
Well,
counting everything to make it
yeah,
look good.
relying more on choice.
yeah, MSBA looks at the trend of retention, so going from like pre-K, from sixth grade to seventh grade, and then retention from eighth to ninth. So they take all that in. You can sort of see it as they progress it through. But what you find though is like once you get past the current year, then they start assuming an average. So they just like plug in the same number going forward. And I just don't see how you can assume that based on the last 5 years where we had a slight uptick, in our birth rates because of the pandemic. I just don't see that we're already seeing it's back down to the normal levels that it was prior to that.
Yeah, well, what
So,
did Leiden say? You had 0 or 1 births last
No,
year?
we had 0 so far. I think 0 last year. We've had 5 children born in 5 years. And not 1 a year, you could have had,
Mhm.
I have it written down.
Yeah,
2
yeah. I
in
mean,
1 year, 1 in 3, and 3 in another or something.
like I have the numbers from Northfield. In 2020, they had 14 births. 2021 was 23. So you see an uptick. 2022 was 18, and then 2023 was 26. 24 was 26. And okay, so those are your sort of your pandemic years. And then last year it was 12. It was back down to 12. Same thing happens in Berniston. It was 5 in 2020. It jumps up to 24 births by 2022. And then last year it was back down to 7.
Yeah, so we
So
got to do a side-by-side chart and have that on the website and have that out there and then that we don't have confidence in the MSB because they took a pattern and projected it out when it doesn't match the actual, bursts
Right.
that are occurring in the towns.
That's right. And Catherine and Erica tried to tell them that when
yeah,
we were on the call with MSB.
Mm.
And,
right.
they're not going to change it. It's just a mathematical thing they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what they did, and I understand why it looks like there's an increase, but I also don't think it's only projecting out so far. Like it takes the actual numbers from the last 5 years, but for the next 5 years, it's a projection. That's what it is. So they don't know. And they've projected it out at a much higher rate than what's actually coming in. So
I'd
it's for
like to be able to see the rest of you.
Yeah,
Oh
are
yeah.
we all done with this Lindsay? Did you
Yes,
want
yeah,
that?
absolutely. Yep, thank you. Yep. Do you want me to
Right.
stop the share?
Yeah, you could do that. And I don't know how long, Karen, you're going to see us all. It is nice to see everybody because I want to see how. So thank you, Lindsay. That was great. That's very
Yeah, thank
helpful.
you.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Put that into place and thank Mary as well. Pass that on next time you
Yeah, she's
get together.
great.
And Dorinda, excellent, because I
Dorinda.
sat in on some of those and it just
Sure.
it was great dialogue. Dorinda, the other things are going to go fairly quickly. So these are the two meaty issues to talk about. How do you want to handle the next piece, which is with this Great River Regional School District proposal? This is basically how we're going to message out on our website. And I don't know, Dorinda, if you'd like to just share, put it up and share where we are, or I'll leave it up to you to how you want to present that.
Yep.
So have her share it. Good.
So I just worked on a new front page that's
Mhm.
sort of more like the content of the brochure, and happy
Mhm.
to send this out to, our editors like Bill or Karen, who are our unofficial editors.
Yeah, definitely not Alan or me.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Check for
boy.
commas or whatever.
Oh,
We
boy.
rely on you guys to
Can-
do that.
I'd like to say something at this point. This letter that you have us write here says Six-Town Rationalization Planning Board.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Does
I
say
mean,
that?
It
First edit.
does. It does.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even notice.
Recommends, mine says why, oh, this is a letter. We have why the Six-Town recommends regionalization. Mine has regionalization.
At the top, the very top.
I am REGIONIZATION. Regionalization. The one I
Cover letter
have
May 6th? Yeah, mine
says
does too.
regionalization.
And it starts with my name is blank and live at.
Oh, that's me. That's no one else. That's my fault. I was doing it quickly for Burdenston. And that's on me. No one else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll definitely chime in on some of the content here because like just in the first one, enrollment has dropped almost 4,000, not over 4,000. It's somewhere, the estimates are somewhere around 3,800. So it's close to it, but it's probably creeping up on that. But I wouldn't say over. But well,
Yeah, you can
we
fix
can
that.
we can fix some of that stuff, yeah.
All right.
And I
So-
just have a general question. If we have special elections just for this, who pays for the poll workers? The
Towns.
town?
Town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy, they're going to be paying for a lot of things this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to try to do is if we get the word that this is going to pass, that this passes, then I had sent out a thing to Greg and I sent out a thing to our legislators today, and it basically said, please give us a status update on the ballot question and on the supplemental regionalization because we're in the process of messaging out to our towns.
Right.
We're informing them that our legislators are
Yeah.
moving forward with
Well,
trying to have a ballot question, and we're hopeful that they are successful. If they are, there'll be a ballot vote in each town. And it also says that the select boards would then work with their town clerks to find out the best venue and date for that. So it could possibly be, it won't be on the primary, but if there's another election going on in town, someone suggested, is it possible to do the October 4th with
Frank
tech
McTech.
school? I did have a brief conversation with Liz and another one with Rick, their business administrator and their superintendent. I'm going to set up a meeting to have that conversation. I'm also wondering if it makes sense.
Yeah, Alan, I would like to just keep
Okay,
back on this.
focus
Let's
on
not
that.
get, we're going way off topic right now.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully no additional poll workers. That's all I have to say for that. It could be a dual election with something else. All right.
Yeah.
So, yes, so this is just like a secret version of the front page that I can send you guys. And it's just sort of like Mary and Lindsay had put together this content. It sounds like some of it needs to be edited, but direct links about, where to get information on what, and then sort of a summary of what's going on. I think Lindsay was thinking that maybe this graph should be updated because it only goes out till, we have numbers for the last few years, so I don't know where we got this.
It shows that uptick, which I think is not, we need to maybe fill in the rest of the years.
A timeline, but yeah, it's just sort of high level. We may have more news articles than this. This is just what I have. Yeah, a high level overview about what's being proposed, the bullet list of benefits, bullet list of financial impacts. And so like any of this text is up for debate, but the sort of idea is what we're talking about now. Transportation governance, and then just and the vote. And then when we have things like when we're going to have meetings, and I can send this site to everybody to look at.
Okay.
When we have meetings or we have new information, we can put it up here so that it's, voting is this day, or come to the forum on this, right up in this section up here. But the front page was sort of like the flyer, just a bullet list of an overview. And then we were also talking about adding another page up here, either like with details, and we were sort of debating about what it should be. Like, should it be, because like the people are saying there is no plan, so is the page called the plan, or is it sort of like a page about challenge and like how we're addressing the challenge or the potential benefits, things like that. So we, as an outreach committee or as a group, we need to solidify like what's that other page that we want to get more into details about. I think in general, we need to, some of the FAQ needs updating, some of it's kind of old, but the rest of the website's in pretty good shape. So I'm going to send this out to people, and you can sort of you can send back just to me your feedback, so it's not open meeting law problems.
Right.
If you have any comments on this, like, I don't think this bullet's accurate, or what about this thing, or whatever. It should be just quick, because it's just this little, it's not big or anything. It's just the new front page with a little bit more. And then I made a potential postcard, but like, I don't know if we want it all black and white so that it's like cheaper. I don't know how we're printing it or what size it should be or anything, but I made a generic postcard.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just say to go to
Yeah,
the
very
website.
good.
Very
That's
nice.
great. Can I make a suggestion on your front page?
Yeah.
You mentioned two things. You mentioned the plan and the challenges. I
Mhm.
would welcome the next one, the plan, the next one, the challenges. I'd move members all the way to the end.
Yeah.
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 Um,
There's also talk about just putting the members on the contact page, just so like if you wanted to know
Yeah.
who they were. But I mean, I don't think there's a problem with having too many tabs either. So yeah, it could just be like
And the
second to
plan
last.
could be the long range plan.
I'd like to go out and read what FAQ is and see if we even need that. If we have the plan and the challenges, does that cover frequently asked questions?
Mm-mm.
I think FAQs are nice because it's just, you look at your topic and I only care about facilities, and you can
Yeah.
just learn about just that. I don't know. So I think it's a little bit faster, and it's just text, as opposed to like if we're going to have a information, it would probably be like graphs and
Yeah.
paragraphs and all this stuff. So
I like that.
I think the
that.
FAQ is still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
more
just like,
conversation than information.
yeah. I mean, some of this is old, like the voting. I don't know. It says we're in the final review stages with Desi, which we're not really.
We hope.
Yeah, we'll have to update that because we're done.
Yeah, but we're also like don't know what's next because we don't know when we're voting. So
Right,
maybe it's
right.
like we're gonna
I
determine
would
voting.
never go out and claim that we were done with Desi.
True.
The question I hear often is, when are we going to vote on this?
Yeah, yeah.
The fall.
So what do I say? We don't
fall.
know right now.
Yeah, there'll be
This
a
fall.
vote in the fall. No matter what, there'll be a vote in the fall.
That's what I've been saying, but they are trying to,
And
they're
what
trying
was
to
just
figure it down a little closer than that.
Yeah, and what was disappointing to me is that in Warwick, we had the handout, but there were some calls to someone saying, "Are they voting? Are they voting?" We had all these parents, I was told, that were interested in coming to vote to support, the not support the agreement. And then it put on the top of this thing we put out why we're regionalizing. It said no vote at this meeting. I was so disappointed because guess what? When I looked around the audience, there were hardly any parents. Because if you're not voting on this, they didn't show up.
Yeah.
So that speaks to the potential of if it's a ballot vote, it's good. It's a democratic process. We'll get more people involved and that's what we want. Because in the end, however this goes, the towns are going to have ownership of their future and how they're going to support local government needs as well as the school. So we can move on to the next one. These are kind of more informational. We had an update on the annual town meeting report. When we had those phases, I looked back at our last couple phases and I corrected them because we now have that information. So the point in doing that was specifically for you because that ship has already sailed. But you can use the revised document for phases for those last couple of phases when you're speaking to people, because that will fill in the blanks because we know more now than we did when we wrote that back in February. The Y regionalization, that was tailored a little bit differently because it was written for the 3 towns at Pioneer. I tailored a little bit differently for Warwick. And then Greg, I tailored it a little differently, and you got that out to Gill and to Montague, right? To their towns, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the last one is just a script, which was done quickly to just cover some points, and that's on me. I don't know, town meetings came up, and when I was going to do Berniston, I went, oh my goodness, I haven't done a script to at least give people an opportunity to ask their moderator if they could have a chance just to speak before. And so Michelle, you're out there a little further, so you can see if people could, or I could go to the town if they want to give them an update. And who else is out there? Because we had Berniston, Northfield, Warwick,
Just
Gill.
yeah.
So we have Monica
Leiden.
and Leiden left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dorinda took the,
Alan, as I told you last year, they didn't want a lot of, this
Okay.
year we're going to have more presentations. So they'll probably just have me print off those points that you sent over. And we did that last year.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other one,
We gave him 2 minutes at Bernardston, and he complied pretty closely. And he didn't, and in spite of the script that he sent to you, that is not what he said. So watch the beginning of the Bernardston town meeting to find out what he said.
I hope it was improved by just talking.
Well,
And you can't see spelling errors.
Yeah, correct.
no, and you
Correct.
can't see that rationalization is there instead of regionalization.
Yeah. And then, so then there was also an email for your information that was sent to the select boards that covered, the 5 town, the 6 town, what we were doing,
Mhm.
supporting the Senate bill, the supplemental budget, and then the outreach efforts. So if
Mhm.
you've had a chance to read that, I don't really need to spend any time on that. If you haven't, just review it so you know what your select boards had received.
Have you already sent that one out?
Yes.
Oh, with the typos I see?
So that was April 16th, dated April, it just says April 2026, but it went out on April 16th.
Okay, that's not what I'm looking at then. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So you should have received that. And so
Yeah,
the
I read it.
last thing is probably one of the most significant now because I do want to also mention that I received a phone call from Raina, and she feels that she's in a position or a situation where she needs to resign. So,
Yeah,
I really wanted to thank her. As a matter of fact, I sent something to her thanking her for really all the participation that she's had and the suggestions and the moving this forward. And I fully understand why she's resigning. So I want to let you know that we have lost her as one of our members. So if you have your calendars, this is the last thing we need to do. And pretty important because in order to implement this plan and to keep updated, the thought is if each one of us got a friend or two, and even if we took one of these tasks, whether it be bringing things around to the towns or writing an article about one topic and getting it to us, and we'll help, but it goes out, from you. Um, Lindsay, you kind of reviewed some of the things that they could help on. Just one, and that will help the us to in our messaging. And it will also not just be Greg and Alan or Greg, Alan, Jane, or we've all taken our turn, but we're in the final actually 4 months. But June 30th, we'll have a little money probably we can encumber, I'm hoping, but then we're done in terms of the financial support. And if we have this in place and we have our plan in place, then we just keep in communication. So I put a lot of dates down, and and then if not needed, we can skip over them. But we're gonna need to have a calendar that we can put together and put out, and then we use it or not. So the first date, um, I was thinking was next week, May 12th. If there's things that we need to do,
I will be
probably
away.
not May 12th because we don't
Yeah.
really need another vote on the website, right? But I can make individual calls to say, what can you do? Or can you arrange a meeting? Let me know when, and I'll be there. We don't really need a meeting for that. Greg, can you foresee? I mean, if we find out about the town in the ballot question, and maybe we might want to have a conversation about how do we proceed on that. I was thinking we could have a meeting with all the town clerks and the select board and have a Zoom meeting and have them talk through how that might work best for their town and coordinate that together. So how about May 12th? I'll put that back on there in case we.
I
I have a commitment.
I do too.
All right. How about May 19th, which is the Tuesday, or the 20th, which is a Wednesday? Which one can we make that work?
I could make either one.
Yeah, I could too.
All right. Does anyone happen to know when Bill, because he meets on Tuesday usually, right? I don't know which Tuesday, if it's the second or
Next
third.
week, he has a meeting next week.
Oh, good.
Next
Okay.
Tuesday.
So let's put down Tuesday, okay?
Okay.
Town.
Yep.
The 19th.
Yep, the 19th. Thank you. 6:30. And then could we do, because now we're in working mode, we don't have a lot of time left. Could we do the following, the 26th? And put that down, which is a Tuesday?
Just a minute. I'm still working on putting that one in.
As long as we're efficient with our time.
Well, these will be like focused like one or two items that we're working on. This is the meat of the work we're doing, updates and any other coordination we have to do in organizing things.
Mhm.
The offline things can be you get things to us and we help write, get to Mary, have her, make it newsworthy and things like that. So can I put down that to 26, Jane? Have you found?
That's the day after Memorial Day. Is that a good thing to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill has a meeting, but
Who has?
where's Bill today? Huh?
Mm,
He doesn't have a.
yeah. Yeah, he doesn't at all. Even with us, maybe. How about going into June? So if we meet there, how about June 9th? Tuesday. That when Bill meets?
I have a conflict in Leiden, a
Okay.
meeting.
Could we do Wednesday,
Yeah.
the 10th?
Yeah.
I don't want to say the 10th. I think I might have a conflict on the 10th.
I think
I might
may
also.
too.
We might be doing end of year transfers. I
Yeah.
don't remember if we did the 10th or the 17th.
Does Pioneer meet on the Thursday? Could we do Thursday the 11th?
No, Pioneer meets on Thursday.
Go back to the 9th.
That works for me.
No. I've got a food pantry meeting.
Is Karen the only one that can't make it? All right, let's try that. The 9th. And Karen, again, we can talk offline. Just because you can't make it, then we can give you an update on what
Bill
what's
has a
going on.
meeting the 9th, but what's our new quorum without Raina? Right, because I also hadn't taken David off the list, which I should do too. But do we have 12 members?
We have 1, 2, 3,
Or
4,
13 maybe?
5, 6, 7. We got to get Cliff to come. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we have 12. We had 13.
So then quorum 6 now?
Well, that's half.
Yeah,
No, we need
that's-
7.
No, that's what we agreed to. 50% or higher. That was our first vote in 2019.
Yeah, it was.
I
Okay.
wasn't there to vote.
You can set your quorums.
Okay. So so the 9th, is there a select board? You have you're off the select board. Congratulations. No more conflicts for you, Greg.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
So the select board
I
meets
still
there.
work, I
They're
still
off
work for
here.
Deerfield.
Well, yeah. Select board's the 27th. Let's see. So, what are we gonna do about that week? We gotta have a meeting sometime.
What week are we talking about
We're
now?
talking about May. We said the 9th didn't seem to work for folks.
Oh, no, it was just me, remember?
No. Oh, okay.
Are we- We
So what
talking
about the
June, May or June?
Yeah, June. Yeah.
May? Oh,
May.
Said
I'm
May,
sorry.
that's why.
No, I'm sorry. We're in June.
June. Bill
Okay.
can't. Bill has school committee that night. I'm
Everyone,
just saying,
everyone
if
else
no
can make
Karen,
it?
no
Yeah.
Bill,
Right.
as long as we have 6.
Okay, we'll leave that on. No, June 30th is coming quick.
So when in May are we scheduled now? Can you review that?
The 19th.
The 19th
Yeah.
and not the 26th?
Oh, did we do the
That-
26th?
Yeah, the
No.
19th, the 26th,
Oh, and the 26th. And the 9th?
June 9th.
Wow.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, some can,
We may
Yeah.
not need them, but I want to at least have them
Yeah.
in the plan.
Okay.
And so that you have a soft hold on it in case we got to have a meeting because I need this information for the grant or I need this vote,
yeah.
Yeah.
And will
Um,
you,
Okay, so in May, we have the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th, all three set up?
right
Okay.
now.
no, not the 12th.
Not
I
the
think
12th.
just the 19th and the 26th.
Okay.
And then
Um,
in June, we have the 9th. And I think we ought to just plan the 9, 16, 23, and 30th, and then we'll probably have 2 of them. We're not going to have all of them.
Well, just, we can set them.
well, that limits what I can tell
You can
other people.
set them aside, I guess, right?
Well, let's do the 9th and the 23rd.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to absolutely do the 30th because that's the end of the month.
So
Right.
so you want it again on the 30th? Want us to,
Well, again,
That in?
we'll see how they play
Okay.
out, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
may if there's nothing to meet for, then we'll just cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So put down the 30th.
Okay.
'Cause-
Well, if
And
you have
then-
to spend the money by the 30th, what good does the 30th meeting do you?
To encumber.
We may have a little money that I can encumber
Okay.
because I can encumber, like, for example, I might
Yeah.
say, hey, we still have $3,000 or 2,000. How should we do postcards? Should we do, what
Yeah,
do
yeah,
people
we got it.
feel?
We know. Yeah, we got it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
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 We need to pay for website hosting. I have to
Yeah.
write you an email about that.
Yep.
okay.
All right. So, anyone have any other business that you can think of?
Just one comment, just because we're trying to jam all this in before June 30th doesn't mean the committee disappears on July 1.
That's right.
Right.
We all
Right.
have to have a vacation sometime.
Yeah, a little bit of
Oh, that's
vacation
for
for you guys, but we're gonna still be doing this because we now are setting up for our town meetings. I mean, that's gonna have to happen over the
Right.
summer.
Election ballots, yeah, or
Yeah,
ballots.
the election ballots and coordinating with the towns and then
I mean, I was going to say the only thing I would add right now is if you haven't been looking for articles on a nationwide basis, this is hitting the entire nation right now. New York City just had an article written on literally it's the
Yeah.
largest district in the country, and they are suffering
Hmm.
from declining enrollment and the same kind of things that are hitting us. So it's happening literally everywhere because our enrollment is declining across we lost I think it was 1.2 million students gone
I
last
mean,
year
look at,
alone.
How many
Look at
years
our-
have we been saying we've got to do this differently?
Right. And it all comes down to economies of scale because that's the only way you can build back your enrollment. I mean, is to be able to regionalize and to bring your enrollment back. So I mean I hate to say it, but people are living in denial if they think they can somehow, fund their way out of this. It's money can't create students. So
and colleges are even having to close.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Hampshire,
everybody's frozen.
Yeah.
it's
So I would-
happening.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn by somebody.
So moved.
That was
Second.
Jane and seconded by,
Michelle.
thank you, Michelle. All right. Can someone reach out to Cliff too
Yeah.
anyone know him that you can reach out and ask him to
Yeah,
please
yeah.
join us
I'm
as
gonna see
we-
his wife tomorrow so I can ask.
All right, thank you.
If he's gonna
All
come
right,
after.
roll call vote. Steve
Sure, yes.
and Alan Genovese is yes, and Dorinda
Yes.
and Karen
Yes.
and Michelle
Yes.
and Jane
Yes.
and Greg
Yes.
and Pat.
Yes.
And I want to thank Mike Jackson for joining us. And if you want any follow-up, please get in touch with us. And thank you, Lindsay, for helping us out there. Good job, good work.
My pleasure.
Yep.
Great.